Hello everyone, this is XBIGALSKIx.
And this is JTB.
And this is Ninja Gaiden Black, Descent of the Fiends Phase 5 in my Master Ninja Mission Mode farming session. See, I had to be careful how I said it versus the tongue twister. I've said it so much I can't say it anymore.
Sounded almost like you were going to say master, like this is my master. Like, this
well,
mission
I had to think
is
about
my
it because
master.
last time I was like mission or whatever. So this mission kind of sucked for me. I had a really hard time. One of my things, or at least goals, was to get at least 180,000 on Doku. And you'll see me wall jump a lot, like at the very beginning, because it's so fast for me now that it's hard for me to figure out what's going on and kind of keep track of what he's doing. So I like doing this strategy right here. My movement's not that good, but if I can just ET and Gleaming Blade, you know, I got my score of 191,000, so I was happy with that. It's time to move on.
Yep.
Now, one thing I want to say, because we're going to have a lot of time to talk through Marbus, I sit there and showed the whole thing. I decided to add a timer, and if going back to what we were talking about, you have 999 seconds, or 16 minutes and roughly 40 seconds to do this mission. So you're going to see, we're showing the whole thing on how close I run that down to that time in order to get all my UTs. And, God, that's kind of bad luck right there. I saw it coming, too. The flying swallow.
Yeah.
I mean. So, I think, so now I'm kind of done with what I'm trying to do. You know, I wanted to get some extra UTs on the cats from the beginning, because if I can get some cats on at the beginning, you know, I can don't have to worry about as many on him.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something you want to do here. Because you only get 11 cats here, isn't it? I think it's 11.
Right.
Yeah, you don't get like the full Marbus marathon, which is in turn like Marbus marathon. People might be wondering what, because we say that a lot actually. Marbus marathon. It has two meanings. It can either mean, you know, farming him with the nunchucks for UTs, for all 50 UTs, or normally what it means is in Eternal Legend he has 108 or 111. I forget which. I think it's 108. But he has a hell of a lot of cat fiends in Eternal Legend. Like, he'll just keep spawning them until he gets to 108 or 111. And that's usually what's referred to as the marathon, because in Eternal Legend each kill's worth 5,000 points. So you definitely want all of the cat fiends dead, you know, if you're going to score.
Well, I think here I just want to, if I hit Marbus a little bit, you know, that's okay. Because the nunchucks don't do that much damage against him, especially since I've always had a hard time exactly understanding when to kind of roll out of the way and see how I came down with Y right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I pressed it too early. I always get a little bit anxious. And then if you miss a couple times like that, and then some other things, he keeps flying around, you'll see that all of a sudden that time goes by. I've done this mission where I've only got 42 UTs instead of all 50. So what I like to do on him, well, going back to the cats first, I want to try to use them for UTs if possible, but if I have to take some blues, I would rather take some of the cats as blues instead of using the health, because I don't know how it's going to go later on the mission. One thing you surely don't want to do is use all your supplies at the beginning, and then you still have Berserkers, Nashe, and Ishtaras to deal with.
Exactly, yeah. And what you're doing here, like, this is kind of this is what you want Marbus to do. When he does his ground slam like this, you can just jump behind him and then charge a UT, and hopefully he'll do it again. He didn't do it this time, obviously.
But he does it like 4 or 5 times in a row. See?
Yeah. So like here, but like sometimes he'll come straight back down with the stomp. So yeah. So like this is fine, like what he does here with the swoop. But ideally, what you would want is just stomp, jump behind him, UT, and then he stomps again, and then like, because you'd be surprised. This is what you want to happen, so it rarely happens.
It's like, really, I missed that. Really?
That looked weird. Hopefully we'll get it here so we can actually show what we're talking about. But this is fine, like him doing the, his charge move, his shoulder barge. But if he does just back-to-back stomps, you can actually get a UT pretty much back-to-back. You can do, the nunchuck UT. By the time it's done animating, he'll stomp again, and then you can jump over him again. You can get what is sort of a good Marbus Marathon, quote-unquote. But as long as you get all your UTs, that's a good Marbus Marathon, essentially. One thing to note as well, you'll notice that you've been collecting essence, and you don't get points for items and Nimpo in this mission like you do other missions. So, if you get into a spot where you're going to get, sort of a lot of damage, like you can Nimpo to get out of it, and that's not going to cost you, a ton of points. So that's nice to have.
Well, look at one thing that I always used to do whenever I'd roll out of the way, I'd press X. So that was my one. I tried to get greedy because you see how many times he stomped at me and then didn't dive bomb and all that. So I tried to get a little bit greedy. So I let myself have at least one ET on the whole thing.
Yeah. As you can see here, though, these UTs, they're really not doing a whole lot of damage to him. He's still got plenty of health.
So see what I do here. See, I did it again. I got a little nervous. So what I ended up doing was, as I roll away, Kel kind of, whenever I watched his video and seen other people play it, they're able to kind of move around and run a little bit before he comes. Like, they'll start kind of running right there. Mm-hmm. But I always get hit. So I said, you know what, I'm just not going to do that. And maybe I'm hampering myself. But what I'll do is when I roll away, so I have my block on, I roll away, but I leave my block on and start pressing Y and then release my block. That way I don't do the Fiend Sealer with the Y.
Yeah, that's how that comes out. And just a quick note on his stomp move too. If you have open space, like for example right there, you in a UT, so obviously couldn't do it. But if he does that in open space, and what I mean by that is like he hasn't got a wall behind him, you can just wind run. And like Ryu will just target, Marbus, and then like that will put you behind him perfectly, and then you can just get your UT that way. But if he's got a wall behind him and you do that, he can sometimes shoulder barge you like into the wall, and you won't get the UT off, like because of that wall cling animation is going to take a bit of time.
Well, that also brings up, why are you not wind running behind him like you've done in other videos that you've had? It's because now, see, that's me not doing what I needed, or my directional pad not being where it needed to be. The reason I'm not wind running behind him, or pathing, whatever it is.
We still don't know. Yeah, we still don't know.
They know, but I keep messing it up. Is I kept missing because I have it set to X+A. I don't have it to a right bumper like on Wary's talked about or JTB's talked about. I just can't get used to that. So I kept, whenever I would press my X+A together, basically I was hitting jump X.
Ah, right, yeah, I see. Fun fact, I still have it as X+A. I don't have that as a shortcut. That's something that I'm so used to it being X+A, and I have pretty big thumbs, so it's pretty easy for me to just hit both. But the one thing, and I know we've mentioned this before, but and I think Marbus is actually a really great example of why it can be really important. I've mentioned just how crucial it can be to be really accurate with your jumps, because X+A is great because the auto-targeting does a lot of it for you. The auto-targeting will, target the enemy's head, and you'll get a perfect arc more or less every time. But sometimes you can just be at an angle.
Real quick on that, I tried to go straight up the wall, and I ran off to the side, and I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I didn't hit jump again, because I thought I was running up the wall.
So here's a good example, like right there where you jumped and you were kind of a little bit behind him on his like right leg. If you can get really comfortable and practice it and not rely too much on wind run, it's something you might, now that I mention it, hopefully people might go back and watch and they'll see. But if you ever see me do like a wind path where I jump off their head, but you don't see that little tracer on Ryu's initial jump, that's a manual jump. Like, that's me aiming Ryu with that jump to jump off that enemy's head. Whereas if you see, like right there, look, there's no tracer there because that was just a regular jump. If you see the little tracer, like when Ryu does a UT, that is when you've done Wind Run. That's when you get Wind Run instead. So it really is worth practicing that for certain things, because sometimes you might want to jump off a specific enemy's head, or even if you just want to guillotine throw a specific enemy. You know, relying on Ryu's auto-targeting when there's more than one enemy around is never a good idea, because he'll target the wrong enemy. So it really is worth getting good at that. And it does take a lot of practice. You know, you really have to be comfortable with, to get technical here, but the position of the stick. This is why I've always championed the 360 controller as one of the best controllers ever, is because when I play NG on any other controller, I can feel less precision in the left analog stick. I think, you know, I'm trying to say if there's 3 enemies lined up and I want to target the one in the middle. On the 360, I can do that every time. I can push the stick in the direction, jump off his head. Sometimes on like Sigma, for example, with the PS3 controller, I'll do that, but he'll get the guy on the left instead. And I think, man, on the 360, like, that would have hit the guy I wanted it to hit. And that's why I always play this, even now, on a 360 controller. I've got a converter for PS3. I use a converter on Xbox One. I genuinely don't think you can beat the 360 pad for this game. You have so much control over Ryu with the analog stick on that controller.
I got a little lucky there. Well, so what I do is I just push the directional, instead of using the wind run whenever he dive bombs, I just push it, you know, in the other direction to do my on landing. I seem to, you know, I wasn't doing the jump A, because that messes up your timing too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
This completely takes it out by me not doing that. If I could be more consistent. I remember whenever I did my Battlefield of the Abyss 3 video years ago, I used that a lot with the X+A to just get on the other side, because it was such good positioning. See, I'm not behind him. It's just how the camera rotates and everything. So if you're consistent with the X+A, definitely use it.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you can just, you know, push behind him. See, I think there's like a little pattern, because he gets stuck kind of doing the same thing if you don't stay close to him. And
yeah, he does.
Did you notice it happened? It's happened like 5 or 6 times in a row.
Yeah. I was thinking on the subject of controllers, now that, you know, controllers are, you know, you've got these, there's a lot more choice now. If you had a controller, if you played NG with a controller that has those little paddles at the back, you know, those, like, they're kind of like levers, I guess. Assigning Nimpo and Wind Run to each one of those really would be like the optimal way to have your controller set up, because even if you're super consistent with X+A, every now and then I miss X+A. Because you think at the end of the day you're pressing 2 buttons at the same time, which is, you know, it's not super difficult, but it's kind of unarguable. Pressing 1 button is easier than pressing 2 buttons. So, you know, if you try Wind Run, say, 1,000 times and you miss it just once, you know, that one time might be the time where you really needed it to come out.
Well, I missed a lot more than once. That's the reason I just gave up on this, because it was costing me. But like, see, there's that.
Yeah, that looked. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that. I think that just tagged you at the end of the roll recovery. Like, that was really close.
It happens again, and I'm just wondering, am I releasing block or something? See, again, I don't go up the wall like I think I'm going to get up. It's all about that movement. And like I said, watch Kel, Godfather, JTB. Watch how good their movement is. For any new players out there, you know, work on that. That'll definitely save you a lot of hassle in the game, and it'll make it more fun because you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah,
there's time where it looks like I'm jumping away when I was actually trying to jump towards them.
Now, he's still got quite a bit of health. I'm just looking at your score and I'm thinking, yep, like, he's got a lot of health left.
Yeah, because I don't run like, and the reason I'm bringing up Cal is because, you know, that was the last video of something like this that I saw. But whenever he's able to run around, he's able to charge just a little bit faster than what I'm doing. So he sometimes gets 2 hits or 3 hits, where I'm only getting 1, because if you notice, he's flying away right as I'm hitting him. Now, we can't hear the sound of Marvis when he's laughing right there. But if I remember correctly, see how I'm kind of waiting. So watch when he gets up. If he doesn't do his hand, see, I just get the one hit.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the other videos out there, they're getting 2 hits on him instead of 1. But when Marvis is right above you and he's fixing to drop down, I think it's on his very last part of his laugh. That's when you want to release. If you release a little early, you're going to whiff, and if you release too late, he's going to slam on you. Now, try to watch it for people who are, watch the video, watch the whole thing, see there it goes
again. Yeah.
Really listen to it and see when I release, because again, we can't hear the exact sound at all right now because it's muted while we're doing the commentary. But having that timing right there, that's crucial. Like JTB said, the perfect pattern is to get him to, just stand above you, dive bomb, finish the UT, get back, and just kind of keep repeating that. Me not being able to X plus A behind him in a steady fashion is preventing that from happening. But you could sit there and loop it like 10 or 12 times easily.
Oh yeah, if he cooperates, I've had a few good runs over the years where you get like, as you say, you get like 10 UTs in a row. And if you look at the timer, like we've said it before, but like you think 16 minutes, that's an eternity. You've got a minute and a half left and change. It goes quicker than you think. So if you can get 10 UTs, back to back, it would have been great if that hit him though.
I know it. I mean, and that was the thing. It would have been okay. Sorry, go ahead, finish what you were saying.
No, I was just saying, if you get the 10 UTs also back to back, even if you only get 2 or 3, it really starts to rack up. The nunchucks animation time, I think it's around 4 seconds, and you got a 4-second charge time. So, if you're getting sort of, 5 UTs in a minute, that is huge, because then you can kind of afford Marvis being, a bit of a knob for like 2 minutes, which sometimes he likes to do, and he'll just constantly shoulder barge at you. So, it gets you that little bit of a window. Whereas, if you're not getting that and you're getting a UT, sort of like you're only getting 2 or 3 a minute, then you're starting to run it down to where, okay, I really need to start getting these UTs in towards the end.
Now that timer that's on screen is something I added. It's not like I was seeing this, while I was playing. I know I was getting close, but the other part that I want to say, whenever you run up the wall, if you don't jump, that's how I get the extra height as I'm running up the wall. I'm sure we talked about it here, but it's really important if you want to dodge his fireballs. And because if you jump when you hit the wall, you're going to jump, flip off the wall, and you don't want to do that. But if you don't push the button, you'll fall off, which is what I did when I thought I was going to run up the wall, and I ran off and went off to the side, and I just fell into his bombs because I thought I was going up.
Yeah, and you can also delay the wall attack, like when Ryu jumps off the wall, the flying bird flip, it's called, like that's when you jump off the wall and he does that backflip. You don't have to press the wall attack immediately, like you can press it at any point, really, until Ryu kind of gets like parallel to the ground, and you'll still get the wall attack to come out, so you don't have to do it, immediately, and that just gets you a little bit more of a buffer window to get the move to come out. So
you can see where I stopped getting points. That means I'd actually gotten 49 UTs and 1 ET, and you want to kind of keep track of that. I should have had 441. I think I had 439, but because of the 1 ET, and the rest of the difference was nunchuck hit UTs and stuff like that. And also the reason that the timer ran out and I was still able to get that UT at the end is because the little invisible timer that you have pauses whenever you're in the pause menu. So that's the reason why the timer ran out, and still a few seconds later I got my last UT out of that. So I was able to get 49 UTs, 1 ET, but as you can see, I ran it all the way down to right at the very end. So that's how fast it can go.
Farming always goes by quicker than you think it will.
Right. Now on here, there's ways to smoke bomb, charge, and farm. And I've never got to this point to where I said, you know what, let me farm the Berserkers. I've never farmed them at all. You know, I don't think that really came out that much. Because, you know, I have a certain average I need to get. And it's like, well, if I just do the Marvis Marathon, will that be good? Or will I have to farm certain enemies and bosses, you know, like the Berserkers? Do I need to farm them? Do I need to farm Mache or whatever? So I'm trying to use some of these smoke bombs. And then when I realized, because see, he had to go that way. You know, he couldn't have gone the other way.
He knew.
Yeah, see, and again, I didn't release in time, so now I'm panicking. I said, you know what? This farming is not going to be successful, so at least let me make the time limit, because the time limit is worth 2 UTs, or, yeah, 2 UTs plus whatever kill bonus I have for making. Then, of course, I missed my forward Y. I mean, I'm like panicking here. It's like,
I was going to say, this is going to be very close, yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that is 10 points on that kill bonus.
Hey, woohoo!
Hey, but you know, you'd have lost 25,000 if you'd have failed the time limit.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to use this to try use it for the guys with Mache and hope I get lucky. Sometimes they'll duck. JTB's able to roll up with the Dragon Sword and kind of Gleaming Blade and knock her down. I have a hard time doing that. So I said, you know what? Let me just see if I can get lucky. And actually, I did.
Nice. Yep. And real quick, the reason that's so good is because Niche will have the 4 sets of minions, and if you've saved all your Nimpo up until this point, you really might as well use it. Like, you might as well use Inazuma to take out like, as soon as the next minions spawn, like, unless you've got a good pattern or a good sequence, you might as well just Nimpo them, because you're not going to get credit, you know, for keeping that Nimpo. Ooh,
I tried to get crazy stupid, and that's what happens when you get crazy stupid, because I'm trying to, like, rush her instead of taking my time. And I'm thinking, oh, man, this is going to be bad. I wish I could do that move that y'all do. I mean, I know the move.
The XXY, yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised she stood there. I think she was nervous. Do I want to fight this fool or not?
It's like, what is he doing? There we go.
Yeah. But yeah, on landing Nimpo, I have it. I'm going to use it.
Yep. Say that there really is. You got a lucky knockdown there too. There's no reason not to, honestly, in this mission. The only reason you would not is very situational. Like, if you get Niche knocked down, and then sometimes the imps will spawn, you know, right next to her, and then if your Gleaming Blade, if they spawn into your Gleaming Blade, then obviously there's no point Nimpoing because you're just wasting time. But in a situation like that right there, like, just Nimpo. Like, it guarantees you take out the minions, and sometimes you get lucky and you might knock her down.
Well, I will say I got lucky right here at the very end. And look at my kill bonus here. So, that if I had tried to farm her, there's a way to farm her with the nunchucks. I would have had to get a lot of UTs to equal that 155,000 with the extra time bonus. And so I had no problem with killing her fast. Actually, it started out bad, but I had a pretty good run.
Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of UTs in there as well. So again, yeah, that all counts. So when you're working out, you know, kill bonus versus UTs, you have to think, well, how many UTs would you get normally? Because, you know, you're probably going to get some. So if you're going to get like 2 or 3, that's still 15,000. So those UTs that, you know, if you were farming, they're UTs that essentially wouldn't really count because they're UTs you would have got anyway. You know, you can't really add those to like your total there.
So I went back and looked, and I got close because we were kind of close to the wall. I'd almost rather keep her closer to the wall because, see, I have to have a tendency to roll away. And I'm not good with the forward XXXX that y'all are good with. But I look back at the last time I fought her, and at least on the video, was like 2 years ago. I mean, that's how long all this shit's taken.
She's missed you.
Well, see then. So there is a way to farm her with single hit lunar UTs, but I've never tried it at all. So because I was connecting, if I could have looped her in the forward XXXX when she kicks, I mean, I would be golden. But like I said, I've never really done that. And then with all these little damage that I'm taking here, it's like, well, I'm not going to take a chance on farming her. Maybe I can make the time limit.
Yeah.
And she doesn't fly. I mean, if she flew 3 or 4 times other than this one time, and I don't think I have my celerity on here. Maybe I do.
You can get a lot of damage if she does this. Funny enough, since speedrunning mission mode a little bit,
Look at this. I'm thinking, please end it so I can get a better bonus.
There we go. Oh no, she misses it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's never easy for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never. I run it down.
But yeah, if you the instant wall attack with the heavy weapons is super good against Ishtaros. Like I never really knew there was the difference there. Like I knew about the difference in the moves, but that might actually be like the fastest way to kill her going forward. Because if you can like roll in between her moves and like keep getting those wall attacks in, you can kill her extremely fast with the Dark Dragon Blade.
So, this is so far the one video that I made where I didn't make my average. I was short by 67,000 points. So, it starts bringing up, JTB and I were talking about it. What's better? Is it to better get, if I'd gotten 10,000 points better on Doku or a little bit, a couple of extra, or had a better Nishay fight or better Berserker fight or a better Ishtaros fight, that means I wouldn't have to farm. But as you can see, it really looks like, and all realistically, with somebody with my skill level, I would have been better off farming Nishay, because I still had, I think, 2 of the rations left. I think.
You had
at least one or 2.
I think you had a great spirit elixir and the ration bundle. So that's still a decent amount of health.
So even because I ran her time all the way down to like 6 seconds left, so that wasn't much of a kill bonus at all. So I would have been better off, trying the farming strategy, even if I don't get the one hit. Let's say I hit her 2 or 3 times. I'm still going to get more. If I get 20 UTs on that, that's what it takes to kill her. That's better than what I had right there.
Yeah. Think about it. 20 UTs is the equivalent of killing Ishtaros, sort of immediately. Because you would get, like, the full 199,999 kill bonus.
So, I don't think I'm going to go back and play this mission. And it's something that, it bothers me. But it's something that we haven't had a chance to really talk about. Or maybe we've talked about it, but not shown an example of, hey, you know what? Even though I'm down 67,000 on this mission, I'm up from my average almost 1,000,000 points. I was actually over 1,000,000 points from the last mission. And now I'm, 946. But
and there's still other missions to go, You think 67,000, and you've got, what, CG, Fateful Confrontation, Battlefield of the Abyss, got you an Eternal Legend left?
Well, on CG, talking about, and I just know about that. I haven't really looked at some of the other stuff. But on CG, 3 of the 5, I've already made my average.
Yeah.
So even though my non-farm score will go up because I include, I put that average as my farm score since I made my average is going to be 0. So CG1, I don't know if I'm going to do CG2 or not, because I only made it by like 45 points. But
that's a pain of a mission to Karma run, though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do on that one. Probably not do it.
I was going to say, I
stick to my
bother.
guns.
Yeah, I won't bother. I know when I did the same thing in Sigma, the main reason I kind of went a bit harder at the other missions is so I thought, when I get to Eternal Legend, I can just relax, and I haven't got to farm Phase 3.
So there was a lot of points on this row to get. I think I increased my score by like 400,000 or 500,000. My average. I could be wrong. I'm not bringing up the total right now. But I know on that row, on Descent of the Fiends, there's a lot of points to be had.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's rows too, like Military Destruction. If you're not going to farm them, or harder farming ones that you might want to not dedicate the time to. Same thing with the CG row. I got lucky and did Awakened Alma no hurt. And I think I got 747, so I don't ever have to play that again.
There's no luck in getting Awakened Down with no hurts or skill.
Well, yeah.
Don't,
anyway.
yeah. Take the credit, man.
Sorry, people see how I play, so I can't take credit for that stuff. But I think overall, having a good, set a goal for Doku. Like I set 180, and I got 191, and you have to be aggressive in order to get those scores. I've actually got as high as like 206, and then dogged it on Marvis. Just getting some of those stupid hits that y'all got to see, or thinking I was going to run up the wall and didn't, and then got firebombed, or missed my timing whenever he's standing above me laughing and does his drop down on me, and miss my timing and him land on me and die. But Marvis, maybe people could set a little timer on their clock, 16 minutes. And, as you're getting there, put the game on pause. That way you kind of know where you stand. Maybe that's a little too much. But the rest of it...
I just thought on that note, you could use the Xbox for that. You could, because the pausing the game doesn't run that clock down. So every now and then you could, like, when you start Marbus, pause it, hit your guide button, take note of the time, and then you could just pause the game, hit your guide button, and be like, okay, that was 5 minutes, and I've got X many UTs. You could do that.
Right. I mean, you could probably get that in about 12 or 13 minutes if you got a good pattern, but it's easy to not get a good, if you don't get a good pattern and then you make a few mistakes, it's easy to go over that 17 minutes, 16 minutes and 40 seconds. But hey, that was something new, that little timer there. I really wanted to show that countdown. And that's always going on in your head, too, as you're playing. It's like, man, where do I stand? Where do I stand? Mm-hmm. And I think, like we've said on all of these videos, if you don't care about score, who cares? But being able to do this and know that, you've, 50 million. It was once a standard. Or, hey, that's pretty good if you got 50. Now with all the videos out there and, what are we at? 40 or 59?
As of, I was just going to mention that, as of Kells, he recently found a pretty groundbreaking strategy for Fateful Confrontation 4, which, skyrocketed. I had half of mine to boot up my old Xbox, and just redo that mission with that strategy just to boost my score a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, now that's at, I think 9, let me just drill. Yeah, he's got 941, and that pushed it to 59 million, so... In a weird way, it really is bittersweet. The gold standard that was 50. 50 million used to be, like having a 3 million pixel camera. 20 years ago, like it was amazing. It was like, oh my god, like that's such a crazy score. And now it's still great. Obviously, don't get us wrong, 50 million is still no joke. But I feel like now it's kind of pushed it to the point where, 50 million is awesome, but it's just not quite as awesome as it used to be, which is a real shame.
Right. Well, the other side of that too is, like, you still have to do the majority of the missions without elixirs. You still have to farm. You almost have to farm the Marvis missions to get 50 million. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see what I get going up to Eternal Legend. And but like I said, 3 of the last 5 or the next 5, I don't think I have to play.
Yeah,
so I'm losing out on that. The UF clone. Yeah, there's not a lot of points in that.
Oh no! I mean, you can farm him, but I mean, that is a dangerous mission. I'd take Marbus farming over farming the UF clone any day.
God!
Because if Marbus hits you, you're alive. If that UF clone hits you, you're not. Like you got to start over. And it's not. There's really not a lot of reward for it. No, it's. I mean,
it's not like you're going to get 300,000 or 400,000. Like I increased my score here by 382,000. It's not like you're going to do that on that mission.
I was going to say, I'm just going to quickly check what the high score is, because the UF clone, you farm him with ETs, because, like the incendiary trick doesn't work on him. And the high score for Phase 4 is currently 550. If you get a really, really fast, like 4 to maybe 5 UT run of that mission, you will get somewhere in the region of like 470 to 480. So you're doing all that work, and you have to be extremely precise for like 70,000. It's not a whole lot of points.
And then, on Got You 4, I'm not going to be farming Got You 4. I'm not going to be farming Got You 5. So, there's missions. There's 5 or 6 missions from here on out that I won't even be playing again. So I'm losing some of that score. So knowing that I'm losing 67,000 right here kind of sucks, but it gives me some peace of mind that, hey, I still got a good score by farming Marvis. And if you can get that down and have decent on some of the other bosses, then you'll break over 2 million, which is not a bad score at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, guys. Well, hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope we answered all the questions and showed, what needed to be shown, explained what needed to be explained. If not, please feel free to let us know, and we'll try to do better next time. But I think that's it for this one. Anything else for the mission, JTV? Or
no, I can't think of anything to say. If you want to, it's just more farming. If you want to push it, it's farm Niche, it's farm Ishtaros, and best of luck if you decide to do that.
And if I had to farm one, I think I would farm Ishtaros.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's definitely the easier of the two to farm, no question.
And you have less time with her. You have Nimpo to kill the guys, and I was able to get some, like 3 or 4 Gleaming Blade UTs on her that did a lot of damage on, Niche.
Yeah.
Versus you just don't get that unless she flies a lot.
Yeah.
And she flew one time.
Getting like a fairly decent Niche in that mission is quite consistent, especially if you've got all your Nimpo, because you can just take out the minions straight away. Ishtaros, even if she's really like whip string happy, you're just not gonna hit her. So, sometimes like she can just burn a lot of time, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, look, y'all take care, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, everyone.